It was my idea. It was really, I don't know. It really just chose me. I didn't have a choice. I just was one day sitting there and I had to go to the store and get the dye at Walmart. I dyed it myself at my house, but I didn't have a choice. Like my body just went over there, and then I just dyed it. I didn't really think about it. It wasn't like it wasn't like a calculated decision.
First time?
No. In high school, all I used to do was dye my hair, all different colors, green, red, everything. Like even comments now, people are like, on my Instagram, they're like, oh, it takes me back to high school. Go back to the high school wrestling days where you had it green and red and all this stuff. So it's just a thing, just felt right.
First time since high school though?
I think so. Yeah, I just used to do it in high school. Like high school wrestling, it's people love dyeing their hair for some reason. So it's kind of, similar, kind of going into the competition or whatever. But it wasn't even really that. I just wanted something different. Like people cut their hair because they want their hair to look different, and I was just like, oh, might as well go all the way.
How often does that happen to you where your body just makes decisions?
All the time. All the time. Like I'll just roam down the street to Home Goods and come home with like 8 pillows, or like a new like patio set or something. I was like, I didn't really think about it. They just got in my car on accident, and so stuff like that. But
Does that excuse work with the wife?
A little bit. Just like, I don't know. Well, it usually looks nice, so she's happy, and then it's something less she has to do because she does literally everything for me. So it's like one less thing, picking pillows and a patio set, whatever.
Joe, what's the feeling right now to finally be getting back in the cage? I mean, it's not too long away at this point, or are you letting yourself enjoy it at this point? Are you still a little cautious?
No, I'm like, honestly, the best way. I'm just happy, honestly. It's amazing just being in this position again. It's been 18 months since I have been, and it's funny because I'm a veteran, obviously, 34 fights, but I just feel like a kid again in the sport. So I'm happy in that regard. Like this time away has done so much for me, like mentally. Like I said, I'm happy. I'm happy training, happy fighting. I got a whole new group and area and people and atmosphere around me, and that makes for good energy on my part. Just the change in general, like we talked about earlier with the hair, even just little things like that. But like you do something for so long and it just kind of becomes what you do. 11 years, I love fighting, I love training every single day, but I go in there and it's just what I'm doing. I'm not thinking every day how fun it is or how cool it is. Just another fight, and having it taken away from you for that long, getting back to it, like I'm happy training. It's so exciting. So like I said, I have like kind of like a newcomer, like kid kind of mentality, but I'm obviously like experienced like a veteran. So it's kind of the best of both worlds coming together. And that's really the best way I can describe it. Just excited and happy to get in there. And like, once again, just so like grateful I get to do this and excited that like, oh, this is fun to me now.
Do you feel like your game has stepped up a notch, having a reset of the...
For sure, yeah. I mean, mentally, that's huge. Just having that like reset and that different perspective, I think is really, really, really important. But then as far as my game stepping up physically, I mean, my body rested for 10 months. That's something I needed. I would take a week off at the most after fights and then get right back into it. So my body, my joints, everything's been taking beatings for 11 years, day in, day out. You never forget how to fight, but my body rested to be able to perform even better. So yeah, everything just feels way better. And even with the UFC PI, like just the little things, the recovery, the physical therapy every day, having the strength coaches, with my own program, everything feels way better. So physically, yeah, that's a no-brainer. Like my body rested for the first time in 11, 12 years. So physically, yeah, my game has definitely stepped up in that regard.
It's a pretty positive attitude you've got overall, but were there low points along the way? I mean, have you been happy this whole time, or has it been rough?
No, not at all. I mean, it's funny because I look back at the kind of the sad moments, which is just after the surgery, just like miserable, crying, just depressed, not sleeping, all that kind of stuff that goes with just having a surgery. Really just the pain and the uncomfortableness of it. And then a little bit mentally, I got over it pretty quick. I think mentally was just like, I'm out of surgery. What can I do? It really just sucked being helpless. So there was really, really low points, like crying naked with my dog in my lap. Like that's a pretty, like sad, moment. But, and like waking up my wife because she could hear me because I'd have to sleep downstairs on the couch and, I had to say, hey, get your rest. You've been helping me all day, filling up my ice thing, everything. And, she could hear me like crying or moaning or whatever and she'd have to come down, and just like comfort me, I guess, for the most part. So like those are all really like sad and low. But like now when I look back at it, it was just an experience, and those parts went slow. But I look back and like, when was I even injured? I never felt like I was injured. And no one's gonna really care that I was injured after I fight. Like this, no one's gonna be like, oh, his fight was good, but remember he was injured or something. Like it doesn't matter at all. It's just about getting through it, and that was always my mentality. Just like, just get through this, get to the next fight, because that's all people are gonna care about when it's said and done. No one's gonna be like, he looked pretty good, or he didn't look that good, or whatever, but he was out for 18. It's not a thing. It's just an experience you have to get through. So I look back at it now, and yeah, those parts were hard, but I guess they just made everything, that much sweeter.
Did you watch fights along the way? I mean, were you keeping an eye on the division, seeing
Yeah.
how things would happen, or was it too hard for you to watch and not be able to be in
No, I'd always watch. I mean, that's what kind of kept me going and, motivate. I watch fights regardless. I mean, there's enough of them to watch, so they're always on. But, yeah, I would watch it. And, yeah, as far as the division goes, I was like, that was one positive thing I was looking at. I was thinking, I'm sorry, I'm just looking straight, but I appreciate all of you guys. John's hair, Brett's handsome. Sorry. Anyway, but yeah, that was one positive thing. I was like, what, if I'm gonna be out, maybe there's gonna be some crazy like mix up in the division. It's gonna be in this totally different upside down state when I get back. And like, it's actually worse and nothing's changed at all. Like nothing's changed. And if anything, it's like the same, like almost worse. So I'm just like, well, here we go. I'm glad I'm back, and maybe that will change something. Being the number one guy and having 7 wins in a row after this fight is what I'm going for. So, but yeah, I watch fights and was waiting for something cool to happen in the division. Nothing did. And, so same as it ever was, I guess, when I get back.
Is there danger then in trying to come back and trying to win like 3 fights at one time and like try to really, just make a splash as you come back instead of just working your way back into being?
Yeah, I want to do some catching up, obviously. Start with this fight with Sergio Pettis in Chicago, and then I'd like to fight again before the end of the year, and then just keep it like that. I'm not like let me fight, just the same as I would as a healthy fighter, a veteran. Just it's half the year, so I'll fight, and then hopefully fight again at the end of the year.
I know you got to a point where you were like, I'm not going to focus on another fight with Demetrius because it might not be there for me right now, but it's been a while, you know what I mean? The guys dominated everybody. I mean, that you're a fight fan, the history of, 0-2, trying to get a third fight, but I mean, do you feel like it's a position now where like, look, this guy's been dominating everybody for so long, and it's been so long since we fought, maybe it is time to take a look at me again?
Yeah, 100%. I've always thought that as far as skill goes, it's not a question. It's the number 1 ranked guy against, the champion. So as far as skill goes, there's not really a question to me. If you want to have the 2 best people fight, we're going to have amazing fights 7 times. And I think even a 5th fight, a 6th fight for us is more exciting, maybe even more marketable with some of the fights he's been doing just, to fill the card and get and him defend his title. So I think the thing about our division too is there's not like a big super fight. So all we really have is skill and talent and, exceptional skill, training things together in MMA. We have the best ever fighter. So all we really have is skill. So why not let the best 2 fighters fight? It's not, I understand when sometimes the best fighter doesn't go fight for the title because he's going to make more money and there's going to be more pay-per-views and there's a little more marketing involved. But with our division, there's not that anyway. So just have the best 2 people fight. 7 wins in a row. I think it'll be hard to deny me after that, especially since he's fought everybody else, and I've beat the next guy in line, Henry Cejudo.
What will get you?
If you don't mind my asking,
Okay.
change as a fighter, you're renewed as a fighter
Yeah.
because of the surgery. but you renewed it seems like it's had an effect on you as a person, I mean, as a human being.
Yeah, it definitely has. I just think any hard experience in life, like you just grow personally. So that was a hard experience. Obviously fighting is kind of my life, so that helped me grow as a fighter. But as a person, just knowing, you're going to have the unexpected things happen and nothing ever really goes as planned. And just getting through it, it really grew. Yeah, I think it helped a lot as a person, for sure. Yeah.
What will get you over the hump to beat Demetrius if you fight him again?
I don't really think there's a hump to get over. I mean, I think a lot of people forget that, we had a split decision in our first fight. The second fight, that's all people are going to remember, but that's the sport. You remember the last fight. You remember the last thing. But people don't realize how much of a coincidence that is. I mean, have you ever seen him knock anyone out with one punch besides that time? Have you ever seen me get knocked out with a punch or even hurt? So these things happen in MMA. But people just forget that. People forget that, we had a split decision already, that I've been taking out every other person in the division as well. So I don't really think there's a hump there is to get, as much as just going out there and performing again and giving my best. Like, the first fight could have gone either way. We both obviously got better since then, so I don't think there's a huge place where he's better than me or anything. He puts things together really good, and I need to do the same. Like, I have the tools, as everyone says, to beat him, and I think everyone in the division does. The way they think they can fight is perfect and can beat anybody, but it's about going out there and doing it. So that's all it really takes. Like, I have what it takes to beat him. I've showed it in fight with him and other fights as well. So not a big hump, as much as just like giving me another chance to go out there and do it. I haven't definitely given him my best fight. There's a ton of things I wouldn't even mention, but I mean, I probably have in a few interviews about that first fight and some things going into it that weren't right. Like, I couldn't train for like a month before that fight, but I still took it, and then the second one, best I ever felt in my life. But that's not the way the sport works. Like, you can feel as good as you possibly can, and then you only have a chance at winning still. So it's not like a marathon where when you're running it, if you're running that time, you're going to probably run close around that. No, I can feel good, but doesn't mean I'm going to fight good. Like, that second fight was the best I ever felt in my life, and that was what happened. He never did it again. It's never happened to me, before or since. So just the hump, I guess, is with the people making the decisions, I guess, to give me another shot, because I know I'm ready physically and as far as talent goes.
Do you worry at all that that's indicative of their thoughts towards giving you another title shot, or it's just the division? Like, it's not you, it's the division that we don't want to put on.
I think a little both. I think honestly a little bit of both. I know the division, like I know it's a little bit because of the division, but it makes me think it's because of me as well, and I could just be making that up. But just other instances throughout the past have made me think that as well. So I think it's a little both.
I wonder, when we say it's the division, obviously this is a problem that we've been talking about for years, but when we say it's the division, are we really saying it's Demetrius? The champion is so dominant and not market.
Yeah, but that is, like, as a whole, yeah, it's Demetrius, but everything webs off of that because he is the division. Like, it might be like Demetrius and whoever makes the decisions right at the top, but it's everyone's fault. I take a lot of the blame for that because I should have been the one to beat him. I was the one expected to beat him. Even when the tournament happened at the very beginning, I was kind of like a number one seed or whatever. I don't even know if there was seedings. I could have made that up, but it sounds good. So I was kind of expected to win that, coming from bantamweight and everything, and, just didn't work out. Had another chance and screwed that up. So it's everybody. I mean, it's everybody in the division, and it's easy, I think, for the masses to look at Demetrius because he's kind of the face of the division. But, like, who else do you think of when you think of the flyweight division? Me, right? And, I haven't done what I've done to bring the division to the forefront either. So I take a lot of blame for that, actually. Like, sometimes I just see, someone saying something about DJ or saying something about the division, and in my mind I just think, like, man, it's all my fault. I could have changed that, you know, or made it a little better. So I take a lot of blame for it, but it's really everyone. No one else has stepped up. No one else has beat him. No one else has done anything to make a splash. So it's a little bit of everyone.
How much of it do you think maybe the fan base has changed a little bit? Because it feels like to me that we've gone back a little bit in the dark ages of like how the lightweight division, before there was a lightweight division in the UFC, that the fans just want to see heavyweight fights. It almost seems like the mentality's like took a couple steps backwards a little bit.
Did it? Yeah, I don't know if that has something to do with just the more fights they put on, but it could be something to do with what you said earlier. It's just not even being there to be seen. You know, like a fight that could be good for the flyweight division, which is me coming back from ACL surgery, and Sergio Pettis, number 5 ranked in the world, a fight that could do something for the division, and 2 potential, you know, prospects, stars, or whatever in the division is buried on Fight Pass. So, I mean, it might be a little bit of mentality, but I think it's what you mentioned, just not being on the main card, not even being visible for people to see, for people to get behind, for anything like that.
What kind of a dog do you have? I just can't get over the comment.
What kind of dog do I have? Oh, Maltese Yorkie mix. He's a Morkie. You can follow him on Instagram at Benny Benavidez. He's the best. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, so check him out.
Thanks, Joe.
Yeah.
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks.
Feeling right now, man. It's almost time to do this again. Give me an idea of like how much different it feels the second time around versus the first time.
I would say the difference between my debut and now is like I'm just used to the process. I know everything that's gonna happen. The other day I actually did a float tank. You heard of that? So I kind of went in. I visualized the whole entire fight week, flying there Tuesday. Visualized signing posters. Visualized the warm up. I'm actually the first fight, so. Just kind of visualize the whole process, the walkout, everything, going in there and getting my hand raised. So, it's just, I don't know, I'm super excited. It's crunch time.
What's a float tank?
So a float tank is like a big isolation tank. It's completely pitch black. It's like filled with like, I think 800 or 1,000 pounds of magnesium salt. And it's about 12 inches of water. And you kind of just go in there and shut yourself in there and meditate. And some people use it to relax, some people use it to visualize or, you know, make their muscles feel better. But I just kind of go in there and I like to visualize, and you get the benefits too, like the physical benefits of repairing your body and your muscles from training. And
So how does the sensory deprivation like help with that?
so, you know, like I could sit right here and meditate, but of course I got my phone, you know, I got my wife, I got people texting me, like a lot of distractions. So when you go there, it's just kind of like you shut out everything. You're dedicating this time to meditate basically, and you know, 0 distractions, pitch black. It's like you're floating in space. It's pretty cool.
So every fighter dreams about being in the UFC. There's no question about it. But then you get there, and you said like, what's the emotion like that first week? What's like, as you said, now you know what to expect.
Yeah.
So is that first week does it end up being very overwhelming for you?
I wouldn't say it was overwhelming my debut. I mean, you know, I went out there, I was obviously pretty excited, and like that was something I dreamed of and worked for my whole entire life. And, you know, when that moment came, I was like, wow, it's finally here. You know, this is it. Like I was pumped and excited, but at the end of the day, it's just another fight. And, you know, I have to stay composed and not get overzealous of the situation and just treat it like, you know, I'm stepping in the cage with another man who's trying to take my head off. And so, yeah, this time around, I know what to expect. And, you know, I'm just going to treat it like any other fight and go in there and take care of business.
You came up short. I mean, what happens when you don't get that result in your UFC debut? I mean, that's the moment you've been working for, right? And it doesn't work out. I mean, is there depression? Is it down? Do you question things? How do you bounce back from that?
Well, yeah, I mean, it obviously sucks to lose. You know, I'm trying to, you know, I want to impress my friends, my family. Everyone expects me to win. They're all texting me, yeah, you're going to kick his ass. And like, they don't see the every day in and out of the gym and all the hard work and sacrifice, and to go out there and, not get my hand raised, yeah, it sucks because, that's all the people see. They don't see all the preparation leading up to the fight. And but a loss, I don't think it's a bad thing. I definitely learned a lot from a loss. I didn't go out there and, get knocked out in 15 seconds. I fought 3 hard rounds with a, tough opponent, and there's a lot I took away from that fight. I lost a decision, but, I gained 15 minutes of experience time in the UFC, which is a lot. Not everyone gets to do that. And there's so much I took away from that fight. And yeah, I had to live with that from January till now, and it sucks. So, but I use that as motivation, in my training every day. Just, I don't want to feel that way again, and I want to get my hand raised, and I will.
You talked about being the first fight of the night, but this is like card of the year, right? I mean, it's stacked top to bottom. You got, top ranked guys in the prelims with you.
Yeah.
So I wonder, does it mean? Is it cool? Is it special? Does it mean anything to be a part of a card like this, or do you even worry about that when really all you're thinking about is going there and getting that win?
Yeah, it's awesome. Obviously, an awesome card, UFC 225. I mean, you got freaking Joe Benavidez, Rashad Evans on the Fight Pass prelims. And to kick it off as the first fight of the night, that's an honor. So I'm definitely going to go out there and set the tempo. But I don't get too caught up on this is a huge card. I mean, the first card I fought on, UFC 220, pretty big card, So, but yeah, I'm not too concerned where I'm at on the card or which card I'm at. UFC 225 is going to be a good night.
Fighting a guy from the area, are you gonna embrace that all? Like, kind of hoping you
can
be a bad guy, maybe get some boos.
Yeah. I would say 90% of my fights I've always fought the hometown guy. So I'm used to it. Going out there, it's less pressure for me. He's coming off 2 losses. He's in his hometown. I'm sure he's training his ass off to come out there and make a huge statement. Especially in his hometown. So, whatever. I just got to stay composed, and we'll get it done. Cool.
Good.
Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Claudia, obviously, it's great to have you out here training in Las Vegas. What kind of prompted the move to train out here? What's it been like for you?
Oh, it's been great. I'm loving out here. I think we have everything we need. All the resources. I came here before. I was like, man, this is perfect. I came here just to check it out, make sure I would have everything I need, and I was like, this is perfect. So I drove my car all the way from Albuquerque to Las Vegas, and I was like, that's it. I'm in. I live here now.
I was going to ask, so, do you think this is full time? After this, do you think this is going to be the spot for you?
I think it is, because we have everything we need here, my coach is coming from Albuquerque here every week. I have great coaches. I have a great boxing coach here, good bodies to train with, a great facility to train, so why not?
Yeah, no question about it. We haven't seen you since September, so give us the idea. What's the focus been like then? I know, coming off a result that you didn't necessarily want, but still fighting, of course, at a high level against the very best in the division. So what's the focus been? What's the thought been?
Yeah, you guys know I fight for my life. I really fight, and I had a tough opponent. Jessica is very, very strong. I was very surprised with her strength. I compare her to 125 a guy when it comes to strength and power, and I never felt that before. So I was very surprised. I think I am way better than her technically, but she's just so much stronger, and that's what made her win the fight. And I'm ready. I've been training. I took a little time for my family to go back to Brazil and enjoy life a little bit, but I've been training for this fight for 4 months, and I feel ready. I'm ready to go.
You talk about her strength, so I wonder, has that been your focus in this training camp? Have you felt like you need to get stronger or need to get more powerful, or is she kind of just a special exception?
I think she's special. I don't know what she did growing up, but I never felt that strength in any other woman. Any strawweight, even flyweights, and I feel the same strength in the guys, the 125 guys. 125er guys. So I don't know what she's doing, I don't know what the special thing she's doing or she did growing up. But I don't think nobody can get that strong, you know. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but yeah. So I'm focusing a lot of things now here in the PI. You know, a lot of strength and conditioning, a lot of balance, movement. You know, a lot of new things to my game, and I feel good about all that.
I wonder if it changed like your attitude or how you looked at the division, because when you lose twice to the champ, very very close fights, then you lose to somebody that's a contender, not the champion. Does that hurt a little bit more or bother you a little bit more when it's not the champ that you're coming short against?
I think I lost to the champion once, right? And then yeah, she really beat me the second time, and I don't feel bad for losing to Jessica because, like I said, she's a different kind of animal, and I think Joanna beat her because Joanna has a different game. She can move a lot, she can get out of Jessica's way. When Claudia, I'm a grappler, and I'll fight, I'll engage the fight, and that's what Jessica needs to use her power and strength and beat girls.
Would you want that fight again?
Oh yeah, of course. I want it again, and I'm sure one of the things that I'm not gonna do again is exchange power with her because she's so much powerful. She can go fight in the 125 male division though.
How about this matchup? When this matchup came up, was this one that you were looking forward to or thought about? I mean, somebody that's definitely been respected for a long time.
I wanted to fight somebody, and nobody was accepting, and she said she would, so I took the fight.
Do you like the fight? I mean, is this something that you thought, a fight that you'd wanted, that you look forward to?
I knew it was gonna happen, but I beat Carolina. She lost to Joanna. I didn't think it would be a good matchup for me, but I wanted to fight, so I took the fight.
So really, it just seems more like something to keep you busy and to keep you kind of at the top of the division.
Yes, exactly.
You talked about training here and having everything you need. What about living here? What have you thought about it?
I'm very happy, living here. I came from humble beginnings, I grew up in the Northeast in Brazil, didn't have a lot of opportunities growing up, and one of my dreams was to come to Las Vegas one day, and today I live here and I have everything I need here. So I'm very happy about that.
What's the difference between, as somebody thinking about Las Vegas, like, oh, Las Vegas looks like such a crazy place, a cool place, to somebody who actually lives here now, what is the difference in the city?
I don't really know yet. I'm here for 3 months, and I'm training, for my fight, and I wanna get around and see a little bit more of Vegas, But I feel like I'm in camp. I'm in camp and I am concentrating. So all I do is I'll come to the PI and I go home and rest and sleep. So I don't know a lot about that yet.
Were you watching a lot of fights while you were off? Were you watching the Joanna and Rose fights? And
yes.
What'd you think of those?
I think they were great fights. It was a good kickboxing matchup. They didn't do much of MMA. It was a lot of stand up. But I think it was great. Rose, she's getting better every day. I think she kind of got Joanna's game now, and I think if she fight Joanna 10 times, she'll beat Joanna 10 times. And I want to see how Joanna will deal with these 2 losses mentally, because she likes to break girls mentally. That's part of her game. Now Rose broke her mentally. I want to see how she's going to do against Tisha and other girls in the future.
It's exciting for you, knowing, the history of, fighters getting a 3rd shot against the champion when they're 0-2 is pretty light. So were you excited to say fresh blood at the top?
Oh, yeah.
That does it for me?
My thing with Joanna is personal, we hate each other. So even though she's not the champion, I still want to fight her again. And, I want to punch her, I want to beat her ass. I just want it because I don't like her.
How do you think she is dealing with the losses? We'll see in her next fight, but just based on what we've seen so far, how do you think she's dealt with it?
I think the loss kind of got her, because like I said, part of her game is breaking girls' head and breaking people down. Now, Rose did the same thing to her, and I think she's kind of frustrated with that.
Why? What makes you say that?
Because I can see, we spent a lot of time together in the Ultimate Fighter 23, and I don't know, like there's something about the way she looks, the way she acts, like I see the changes in her personality.
Do you think Rose could be a dominant champion, or do you think she just had Joanna's number, that maybe against some of the other contenders that she'll struggle more?
So Rose definitely can be a dominant champion. She's an excellent fighter, and she's getting better every day. But I think there's other girls in the division that will have her number as well.
Do you think the way the division looks right now that it'll be tough for anyone to do what Joanna did, to hold on to the belt for a long time? Do you think there's a good chance the belt can bounce around a little bit just based on the different styles that are at the top?
I think so, because the difference of style. Like there's two great strikers and two great grapplers. I would say three with Carla also coming back with two wins. That can be very different, because there is a lot of difference of styles in the top of the division. Like you can see like very good grapplers, very good strikers, and I think we have each other's numbers.
How is your striking? What are the changes to your striking with working with Giff here in Vegas?
I think a lot of movement. I think he made me move a little bit more. He made me think about what I'm doing a little bit more, and I'm so excited to feel that in fight night next week.
Do you think this is a fight that, Carlos looked at as a grappler, so are you? Do you think this is a fight where you'll be able to showcase your striking a lot, or do you think you guys will get into a grappling contest?
I think I'm like better than her in everything she does, but definitely my striking is way better than hers. That's all she does. She's a wrestler. She's gonna try to take me down, and I can do MMA with her.
Did you know you were gonna fight Carla at some point? Like that was just inevitable?
That's the third time we scheduled to fight. Like first time I broke my nose 10 days before the fight. Second time I got sick from cutting weight. I ended up in the hospital. The doctor didn't let me fight. So I'm very excited about this. I've been like very careful with the way I'm training now, because I don't want to get hurt. I don't want nothing to happen to my body now, and I'm ready to go this time.
Do you have anything against her? I think I've seen her in interviews say that she thinks you don't like her for some reason. Is that true? Do you not like her?
Well, I really broke my nose 10 days before the fight, and the second time I really got sick, and she was talking a lot of shit about all that, she said I was running from her. I'm not running from her. I got sick and I broke my nose, so I just didn't like the way she dealt when all that happened to me.